there's a clear effort to circumvent that provision, so that the occasion of it deciding by the court might not arise because there will be no law passed by Parliament.
Nobody, including cabinet secretaries, have the power to make law, not even a presidential working party. The best they can do, Honorable Speaker, is to make recommendations.
And nobody, and I repeat, nobody, no minister of government can purport to make law or do things that appear to be interpreted that they have made law, because they have no capacity to make any law.
Haya ndivyo hali ilivyokuwa mapema leo. Kamati ya haki na masuala ya sheria inaeleza kuwa Kenya inakadiria kukabiliwa na mgogoro wa kikatiba kufuatia kuchelewa kuwateua makamishna huru wa uchaguzi na mipaka wanaotarajiwa kuongoza wekaji mipaka mipya. Wakizungumza katika mkutano wa kujadili sheria ya uchaguzi, kamati hiyo ilielezwa kwamba takriban maeneo bunge 40 huenda yakafutiliwa mbali katika muda wa miezi 5 ijayo kwa kushindwa kufikia kiwango kinachohitajika cha watu zaidi ya 164,000. Haya yanajiri siku chache baada ya mkurugenzi mkuu mtendaji wa IEBC Hussein Marjan kusema kuwa mchakato wa uwekaji mipaka uliotarajiwa kuanza Machi mwaka ujao utachelewa zaidi kufuatia kucheleweshwa kwa kuajiri makamishna. Marjan alieleza kwamba mchakato huu wa mabadiliko ya mipaka itachukua muda wa miezi 18.
The Kenya general elections, and further delay in the appointment of IEBC commissioners in the name of having a dialogue will throw the electoral process system into a national disaster. Hence is my kind appeal that even in the bipartisan talks continue, the appointing panel be allowed to undertake its mandate, appoint the commissioners to begin the boundary delimitation process and address the fate of unprotected constituencies. Otherwise, it will remain a ticking time bomb.
If you are to proceed the way you have proposed, then it makes nonsense of what you're trying to do to put this country together again. And you say that one side will just proceed and carry out their mandate and put in commissioners who will pre-rig the 2027 election. Of course.
Na mtazamaji, kuna hii taarifa kwamba mamlaka ya kusimamia polisi ya IPOA hii leo imetoa pendekezo kwa kamati ya mazungumzo ya kitaifa ikitaka maabara ya kufanyia uchunguzi ya DCI kuwa maabara huru na kuwaruhusu kufanyia uchunguzi wao. Kwa mujibu wa IPOA, changamoto wanaokumbana nayo ni pamoja na kupewa ripoti za uongo, huku maafisa wanaofanya kazi katika maabara hiyo iliyoko chini ya DCI kuwakinga wenzao wanaochunguzwa. IPOA pia imesema kuwa madai ya Inspekta Jenerali wa polisi kuwa mrengo wa Azimio la Umoja ilikuwa inakodisha miili ya watu waliokufa wakati wa maandamano ni ya kupotosha. Aidha, hii leo kikundi cha chama cha Jubilee kinachoongozwa na Sabina Chege na Kanini Kega pia kiliwasilisha mapendekezo yao katika kamati ya mazungumzo, na sasa watasubiria kutengewa siku ya kuelezea mapendekezo yao.
Which is viable and it will supplement
Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa
very much, Mheshimiwa.
You are on the selection panel, you just said
Mtazamaji, haya yakijiri ni kwamba bodi ya kuwasajili maajenti wa makazi ERB imekosoa mswada mpya uliopendekezwa na seneta wa Trans Nzoia Alan Chesang. Mswada huu, Chesang anasema unalenga kusafisha sekta ya makazi kwa kuazima maajenti dhidi ya kuhusika katika ununuzi wa nyumba, ununuzi wa ardhi au majumba katika harakati za kuondoa kile Chesang anasema ni uozo katika sekta ya makazi. Mkurugenzi wa bodi ya kuwasajili maajenti Eunice Masharia anasema hatua hiyo ni dharau, kwani maajenti waliosajiliwa na bodi hiyo tayari wanauelewa wa kazi yao na uzoefu wa muda mrefu, na ni bodi hiyo pekee ambayo inastahili kuwachuja. Bodi hiyo imependekeza mswada huu uandikiwe upya na bodi ya ERB ihusishwe kikamilifu.
That the proposed bill should be redrafted to concentrate on regulating developers and land buying companies and the regulation of the professional real estate agent should remain as currently contained in the Estate Agents Act, Cap 533, of the laws of Kenya.
Na mtazamaji, baada ya hapo basi tunachukua mapumziko mafupi ila tupate yajayo. Na hii leo ndani ya yajayo tunaangazia hali ya mishipa kupooza. Ni makala ya Kona ya Afya.
How do you keep your toilets clean?
I use normal detergent and bleach for washing.
The detergent and bleach cleanless can leave behind yellowness, rust, and germs. Harpic's 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach, and kills 99.9% illness-causing germs in your toilet, including the COVID-19 virus.
200 bob too. Hey Buddha, the transaction ndio imekushinda ama?
Relax.
Umenywa watu kama kuku juu ya tokens.
Nunua KPLC tokens bila charges only on Airtel Money. Dial *334#. Select Lipa na Airtel Pay Bill, then select KPLC.
Acne-prone skin, marks? Stop. Try new Garnier Charcoal Serum with 4% AHA, BHA and charcoal. The first black serum with no residue. Clinically proven to reduce pimples and acne marks. New Garnier AHA, BHA Charcoal Serum. Approved by dermatologists by Garnier Naturally.
Stay 5 degrees cooler.
Body odor is caused by germs, and on active days, the sweating and odor are more. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool with up to 5 degrees instant cooling sensation and odor protection. Be Dettol sure.
Welcome to Bellevue Park Residences. Imagine waking up to a life of comfort and convenience in one of our beautifully designed studios. 1, 2, or 3-bedroom apartments. With amenities that cater to your every need. From fitness centers to lush green spaces, just modern bliss. Enjoy proximity to the airport, hassle-free access with the expressway, and views of the Nairobi National Park. Prices start from just 3.4 million Kenyan shillings. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to own your piece of modern bliss. Let's make your home ownership and investment dreams a reality at Bellevue Park Residences.
Erik ten Hag is potentially facing the toughest period of his managerial career as he looks to revive Manchester United, the most successful club in Premier League history. After an encouraging first season, Ten Hag's second campaign at Old Trafford is off to a rocky start, besieged by problems both on and off the pitch.
Karibu tena mtazamaji, tuangazie makuu ya siku, na moja kwa moja ni kwamba Kenya kuandaa makala ya mwaka 2027 ya AFCON. Ni kwamba Kenya, Uganda na Tanzania imepata kibali cha wenyeji wa kombe la bara Afrika. Misri, Senegal na Botswana wakiuma nje. Kwingineko mtazamaji, ni bunge la kataa mabadiliko shuleni. Hii ni baada ya kamati hiyo ya kuchunguza CBC kukosolewa vikali kwa kukosa kupitia kwenye bunge la kitaifa. Mtazamaji, kwingineko ni kwamba darubini ya El Nino, ukosefu wa mabomba. Inasemekana kwamba ukosefu wa mabomba ya kupitisha maji taka inahofiwa kana kwamba itachangia mafuriko mvua wa El Nino ikinyesha. Na kwingineko mtazamaji, tukimalizia kabisa ni kwamba Kalbenz Okonya kusalia rumande. Huyu ni mwakilishi wadi na atasalia rumande kwa siku 9 zaidi. Shtaka ni la kumbaka mtoto wa miaka 14. Hayo ndio makuu ya siku, na mtazamaji kugusia kwamba hayo ni madai. Katika makala yetu maalum ya kuangazia msimu unaotabiriwa kuja ya mvua ya El Nino, leo tunaangazia jinsi ambavyo ukosefu wa mabomba ya kupitisha maji taka inaweza kuchangia mafuriko. Athari kuu za mafuriko ni uharibifu wa mali na hata vifo, kama anavyotueleza mwanahabari wetu Kevin Mutai.
We are likely to have floods over the low-lying areas, especially over the northeastern parts of the country and northwestern parts of the country, the southeastern lowlands, and also the Lake Victoria Basin and the urban centers that have poor drainage system. We're also likely to experience a lot of flooding in those areas.
Kufuatia tangazo kuhusu msimu unaotarajiwa wa mvua ya El Nino, imebainika wazi kwamba kuna haja ya maandalizi kabambe ili kuepusha waja na majanga yanayotokana na mafuriko.
From 1997 and even from other rainfall seasons where we've had very heavy rainfall, we've seen that there's been a lot of loss of lives and damage to property.
Traditionally speaking, whenever these warnings are released, the most important action is in the early action interventions that take place at the local level to prevent risks of flooding, so to mitigate, to prevent.
Kuna baadhi ya miji iliyo na changamoto za mabomba ya majitaka, kwa mfano kaunti Mombasa, maeneo ya Utange, Bomu na hata Ziwa la Ng'ombe zimetajwa kama baadhi ya sehemu zilizo na uwezo mkubwa wa kuathirika na mvua ya El Nino.
In Ziwa la Ng'ombe, for example, we have a total of 50 soak pits, vertical drains, and we have opened all of them. We are servicing them to make sure that at least they help us manage the issue, because as you realize, Ziwa la Ng'ombe is a basin. It is the lowest point in Nyali, so all water, tend to converge there.
We will be prepared as well in the event that we will need to be in a position to vacate people, those who are in the low-lying areas as well, and especially areas that have not been, that are not formal houses per se.
Wataalamu wa mazingira wanasema kuna baadhi ya nyumba ambazo zimejengwa kwenye njia za kupitisha maji taka au hata sehemu chepe na hivyo basi kuchangia mafuriko.
Na ukiapruviwa ujenge vilivyoapruviwa, fanya hivyo. Kwa sababu ikifika wakati hatuwezi kuruhusu maisha ya maelfu yaharibike kwa sababu ya mtu mmoja. Tutadili na wewe ili watu wapate nafuu.
Hatari pia imewakodolea macho wanaoishi karibu na mito.
Ile sehemu yenye mimi nitoka huko Tana River kulikuwa na madhara mengi sana. Kwa sababu tukienda upande wa mto, maji yalijaa yakawa mengi, yakaharibu mashamba. Kiupande wangu mimi nitasema bado hatujajiandaa. Kwa sababu paka sasa hivi kuna watu wenye wanaishi sehemu za lowland na wameambiwa waondoke wakae sehemu ya juu, lakini paka sasa hivi kuna watu wenye wanaishi hiyo sehemu.
Hofu ya mkurupuko wa magonjwa pia imeongezeka.
We are also likely to see an increase in vector-borne diseases because of the floodings, because the floods will produce conducive breeding grounds.
We have already done polio vaccination, cholera vaccination, which the campaigns that we have been doing, and this has gone with sensitization on how to also prevent some of the waterborne diseases that are likely to come with El Nino.
Serikali kuu imeweka mikakati ikiwemo kukutana na idara mbalimbali serikalini ili kudhibiti hali ifikapo msimu huo wa mvua ya El Nino. Kevin Mutai, NTV katika kaunti ya Mombasa.
Na mtazamaji, tuangazie taarifa hii ambapo watu wengi huchukulia maumivu ya kichwa kama jambo la kawaida, huku wengi wakinunua dawa za kupunguza maumivu pasipo kutafuta ushauri wa daktari. Lakini je, wajua kuwa hali hii inaweza kuathiri mishipa ya ubongo na hatimaye kufanya mwili wote kupooza? Kwenye makala yetu ya Kona ya Afya, mwanahabari wetu Gabriel Kudaka anaangazia ugonjwa huu kupitia mgonjwa mmoja, mtu anayeugua ugonjwa huo unaofahamika kama multiple sclerosis.
Katika kijiji cha Kamagut, kaunti ya Uasin Gishu, tunakutana na Dickson Kibiwot mwenye umri wa miaka 27 akisaidiwa na mamake ili kupunga hewa chini ya kivuli. Dickson alizaliwa bila kasoro yoyote, ila katika mwaka 2017 akaanza kuhisi maumivu ya kichwa pasi na kutarajia kwamba maumivu hayo yatabadilisha maisha yake.
Anza na headache, persistent headache for quite some time. But then after hapo nikapelekwa hospitali, nikakuwa paralyzed.
Ugonjwa huu unaitwa multiple sclerosis, hali inayosababisha mwili kupooza baada ya mishipa ya ubongo kuathirika.
Multiple sclerosis is essentially it's a medical condition that we can actually describe as a condition emanating from the body fighting itself.
Tangu mwaka 2017 maisha ya Dickson yalibadilika, huku akigeuza kiti hiki kuwa kiungo muhimu cha maisha yake.
So nimeadmitiwa around 3 times. So first time nilienda nikakaa hospitali 3 weeks, nikakuja nyumbani, nikatibiwa nyumbani nikikula dawa for 1 month.
Kwa sasa mamake Dickson anajitahidi kila kuchao kuhakikisha kwamba anapata dawa zinazostahili ili aweze kukabiliana na maumivu.
Na mtazamaji, bila shaka ndio makala maalum ya Kona ya Afya. Kwa sasa niruhusu niweze kuchukua mapumziko mafupi.
Acne-prone skin? Marks? Stop. Try new Garnier Charcoal Serum with 4% AHA, BHA and charcoal. The first black serum with no residue. Clinically proven to reduce pimples and acne marks. New Garnier AHA, BHA Charcoal Serum. Approved by dermatologists by Garnier, naturally.
It's Butta's birthday month and you can enjoy free shopping of up to 500 bob. Offer starts at 2,499 only. Visit your nearest Butta store today.
New Sensodyne Repair and Protect with Deep Repair. It's a huge game changer for me. The science is pretty amazing because it really goes deep inside the tooth and repairs tooth sensitivity. I am a happy patient. I will be able to go back to the things that I enjoy eating the most. The science is there. It's going to improve the quality of my life in a big way. The new Sensodyne Repair and Protect with Deep Repair.
Stay 5 degrees cooler.
Body odor is caused by germs, and on active days, the sweating and odor are more. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool with up to 5 degrees instant cooling sensation and odor protection. Be Dettol sure.
Mwanangu, unapozidi kukua, mwili wangu unapitia mabadiliko mengi sana. Lakini the new Nice and Lovely Flawless Bio Body Oil inatunza mwili wangu, and I get to celebrate my journey with you. New Nice and Lovely Flawless Bio Body Oil imeboreshwa na 4 natural oils. Kupunguza the appearance of stretch marks, ku-even skin tone, na ku-improve skin firmness. Flawless is a feeling. 9 out of 10 Kenyan women agree it worked for them.
Dare to dream easy. Alba Apartments is located 4 minutes from Junction Mall on One-Year Road, offering studios, 1 bedroom, junior 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms from as low as 1.9 million. Set in a breathtaking ambience with easily accessible roads and a scenic view. This masterpiece residential area and commercial space is alluring and captivating in equal measure.
Karibu mtazamaji, tuangazie yaliyomo kwenye spoti. Ronnie Lusigi amechaguliwa kama rais mpya wa shirikisho la michezo ya kielektroniki baada ya kujipatia kura 23 katika uchaguzi wa taifa, shirikisho la uchaguzi uliofanyika leo. Uchaguzi uliohusisha wajumbe 27 kutoka kaunti tofauti ulifanyika katika hoteli moja humu mjini. Lusigi aliweza kuibuka mshindi baada ya kucharaza mpinzani wake wa pekee, Mwaniki Mwanzia, ambaye alipata kura 4. Nafasi nyingine katika shirikisho hizo zilimpa Brian Ochanda kuwa mwakilishi wa wanariadha. Ellen Kairu alipigiwa kura na mweka hazina, huku Ann Odhiambo akichaguliwa kuwa makamu wa rais pamoja na John Odhiambo. Michael Lulu alichaguliwa kama mwakilishi wa wanachama wa shirika na Elijah Kiplagat kama katibu mratibu. Mabao matatu kutoka kwa Alejandro Garnacho, Casemiro na Anthony Martial yalipatia Manchester United ushindi dhidi ya Crystal Palace na kuwezesha timu ya kocha Erik ten Hag kufuzu raundi ya 4 ya kombe la Carabao. Garnacho aliweka United uongozini katika dakika 21. Dakika 6 baadaye, kiungo wakati wa Brazil Casemiro alifunga bao lake la 4 la msimu huu alipofunga tobwe la kichwa kutokana na mpira wa kona. Na aliyekuwa gavana wa Nairobi Mike Mbuvi Sonko amesihi serikali kusaidia timu ya Harambee Starlets vilivyo ili timu hiyo iweze kufuzu mashindano ya wanawake la kombe la Afrika. Starlets waliweza kubwaga timu ya Cameroon kwenye raundi ya kwanza ya kufuzu kwa mara ya kwanza katika historia yao kwa kuwafunga penalti 4-3. Sonko aliweza kuwatawaza wachezaji wa Starlets 250,000 baada ya mechi. Starlets watamenyana na Botswana katika raundi ya pili ya kufuzu, huku mshindi akijikatia tiketi ya kupambana katika kombe la Afrika ya wanawake mwaka ujao.
These players are very experienced, they are very talented. We need to support them. I'm asking the Ministry of Sports, Minister Babu Namwamba, support his team. I'm sure our president anapenda soka, anapenda wa Kenya. He will also support our team. In my own small way, sina mshahara, siko kazi, akaunti zangu bado zimefungwa, lakini nimejifinya hapa na M-Pesa mafuliza, mama amenitumia, nimewachia 250,000 wende wakakule sapa. From my heart. Yes, I'm very happy about what they have done. Congratulations Harambee Starlets, we are with you.
Haya mtazamaji, basi tunakamilisha taarifa zetu za NTV jioni. Natumai kwamba zimeridhia nafsi yako. Jina langu siku zote ni Frida Mwaka, ukiniita nitaitika. Mfasiri wa lugha ishara ni Flora Atieno. Usiku mwanana.
This is NTV.
Stay 5 degrees cooler.
Body odor is caused by germs, and on active days, the sweating and odor are more. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool with up to 5 degrees instant cooling sensation and odor protection. Be Dettol sure.
Benefits of ordering with Glovo. Glovo allows you to order anything you want at the comfort and convenience of your home. Craving fried chicken or pilau or pizza? Easy and simple. Order on Glovo today. Glovo, order anything, we deliver in minutes.
With Glovo, you've got the city at your fingertips. Unajisikia kukula kitu different? Order Glovo. Ama treat the family with a sweet surprise. Download Glovo and get anything you want in minutes.
If you're hungry for chapos, make it Ajab. Easy. Kamatis and samos prepared just easy. No stress, no mess when you're kneading. Easy. Ajab is a soft rolls out so easy. So quick to prepare Ajab base so easy. Soft to the taste and touch, it's easy.
Enjoy cooking your favorite meals with Ajab and freestyle your way to deliciousness. It's easy to knead, easy to roll, and quick to prepare. Ajab home baking flour, the flour that does more.
Mwanangu, unapozidi kukua, mwili wangu unapitia mabadiliko mengi sana. Lakini the new nice and lovely flawless bio body oil inatunza mwili wangu, and I get to celebrate my journey with you. New nice and lovely flawless bio body oil imeboreshwa na 4 natural oils. Kupunguza the appearance of stretch marks, ku-even skin tone, na ku-improve skin firmness. Flawless is a feeling. 9 out of 10 Kenyan women agree it worked for them.
NTV, turning on your world. The following program has been rated GE. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
welcome to Kikao, your weekly authoritative program on Africa's agriculture. My name is Joe Ageyo. This week, we focus on a subject that evokes fear in some people, but in others, opportunities. We are talking about genetically modified organisms or products better known as GMOs. Why are they so controversial in parts of Africa? And what ought the continent to do with them? We'll be hearing from our eminent panel in just a few moments, but first, here is the scene setter.
People tend to shy away from new technologies, come with lots of excuses. Today you'll hear that, oh, I'm a Puritan, okay? I'm a very religious person. I don't understand the dynamics. Where is it going to take us? People still have nightmares. Have people failed from sleeping? Don't people sleep? If you want to get rid of nightmares, don't sleep then. For how long are we going to have these sentiments without us addressing it?
Let's now get some real answers to the many questions that people ask around the continent from our eminent panel of experts. And for this, we join Dr. Canisius Kanangire, the Executive Director of AATF.
For many years, humans have used traditional breeding methods such as selective breeding and crossbreeding to get desirable traits in plants and animals. But scientists are constantly developing new ways to create new varieties of crops and animals. Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, have become a common term consumers and popular media use to describe foods that have been created through genetic engineering. The release of GM products starting in the 90s was followed by an onslaught of information from varied sources about the relative merits and demerits of the technology. Newer to the agricultural biotechnology space is gene editing, adding yet another term and even more complexity to a field already brimming with misperceptions and misinformation. As these technologies become more widespread, so too does the necessity of understanding them in detail so that decisions can be informed by truth and not manipulated by fear. So, what exactly are GMOs? How widespread are their use around the world? Are they safe? Are they needed and useful? On this episode of Kikao series, we will seek to demystify GMOs, their regulation and application in improving agricultural productivity. I am your host, Dr. Canisius Kanangire, Executive Director of AATF, and my guests today are Dr. Roy Mugira, Acting CEO, National Biosafety Authority, Kenya, and Professor Mohamed Ishaku, Executive Director and CEO, Institute for Agricultural Research, Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria, Nigeria. You are welcome, sirs.
Thank you very much for having us. And thank you for hosting us.
The term GMOs have been on every lips in Africa, elsewhere, for many years, for 2 decades almost. What is, in simple terms, GMO? What does it mean?
GMOs are varieties of crops and animals that have been developed by adding to them characters that are not found amongst their relatives, but are taken outside their relatives in order to improve their productivity.
In traditional breeding that you have mentioned, you are able to move genes from one organism to another through crossing. This can only happen between the same organism, maize to maize. It became possible to move genes from unrelated So what breeders have always done is to cross one parent with another in the hope that the offspring will carry the good character from here and the good character from here. That takes a long time because it is also dependent on chance. It became possible for scientists after DNA was sequenced to pick very specific gene and move it into the crop or plant of interest. And therefore, it became possible even to move across species so that you can pick a gene from a carrot and put it in rice, to make rice produce vitamin A, and therefore have what we have been referring to as golden rice.
What is it that we, ordinary people, should know about a GMO product?
GMOs are not any different from any improved variety or strain of animals developed, except that they have gotten an increased capacity to provide for humans services such as resistance to drought, resistance to disease, increase in the number, in the quantity of sugar produced or oil produced in the plant and so on. And that we need to know that they are not any different from that which we have been using before, except for the additional advantage that they can provide more for the farmer and also for the consumer for his own benefit.
So is GMO product safe for the environment and safe for human consumption?
To put it in a blanket, that all are safe, all are safe for the environment and health may be a bit misleading. But it is useful to pick an example and also to check on what are the measures that are taken to ensure safety. The global community, after realizing that possibility, asked the same question: is this now safe for my health, for the health of the animals, for the environment? And therefore the international community negotiated a protocol that would govern how do we manage this new technology. And that is the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, which is anchored under the Convention on Biological Diversity. And basically this addresses safety, which is what you have put through. So individual state parties, countries now went and did their laws and established their institutions, like the Biosafety Authority that I had in Kenya, to ensure and assure safety. Now, let's deal with an example so that it becomes clear.
Yes.
We have just approved BT cotton in Kenya. This is cotton that is genetically modified to resist the cotton bollworm, the worm that destroys cotton.
Yes.
Now, BT, we need also to say what that one is. Probably it is coming later in our discussion, but a lot of people think it is biotech cotton. That is not the case. It is derived from a bacteria that is resident in the soil called Bacillus thuringiensis. Now, what happened, if we go even, we also have BT maize, which is coming up, which has also been commercialized elsewhere, including Nigeria. Farmers realized that their maize is getting destroyed by the stalk borer. So they would scoop some soil and put on the funnels of the maize. It helped. So then scientists asked, what is it in the soil that is bringing this? The first suspicion was that is suffocation. So the borers are being suffocated inside the funnel and therefore they die. But when they examined, they saw, no, this death is not just suffocation. There must be something. And that is when scientists now identified a bacteria in the soil, the Bacillus thuringiensis, and therefore BT, that produces a protein which is the one that is responsible for the deaths that were being observed. Now they went a step further, established this is the protein, a step further, and established the gene that makes this protein. Now they said, why don't we put this gene in maize, in cotton, in cowpea, so that the maize can make that protein itself.
and fight
and protect itself.
Fantastic. That is very good. I think we understand now the technology itself and the BT idea of it. We will take a short break.
I trust Sunlight 2-in-1 washing powder to give my clothes a sensational clean and an uplifting fragrance. Sunlight. More than you expect.
Show off your best skin with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Body Lotion with 5-in-1 complete care. The deeply nourishing formula prevents your skin from drying with precious cocoa butter and deep moisture for smooth and healthy looking skin.
The moment I feel my pain starting to fade, it's like I'm going back to myself on a really good day.
Panadol Extra releases you from strong pain. Panadol, release starts here.
It's Butta's birthday month, and you can enjoy free shopping of up to 500 bob. Offer starts at 2,499 only. Visit your nearest Butta store today.
Wateja huprefer stock zangu juu ziko tayari kuvaliwa pap lakini vile hii ekonomi imetufinya, ilinibidi kubadilisha sabuni nikatumia ingine rahisi. Bala, ilibidi nioshe kila kitu mara mbili. Sikuwa na otherwise, nikarudia Ariel. Mi hupata clean and fresh results kwa mwosho mmoja tu. Ariel ndio siri yangu. Sasa stoli yangu iko popular sana.
Ariel, usafi bora kwa mwosho mmoja tu.
Following the gazettement of Two Rivers as a private, services-focused special economic zone, the first one of the kind in Kenya, there is no better time to own a home at Two Rivers than now. Text the word Cascadia to 22365.
Welcome back to the Kikao session. Yeah, when I was listening to Roy, I saw Professor Ishaku like burning to have some contribution on the safety of these GMOs, on environment, on human consumption, on other animals, if they are fed on BT products. Please take some time and share with us.
I suspect our viewers will want to know what is it that is used to arrive at the safety? What are those things that you will say? Ordinarily, if it is food, you think of it, whether is it a poison? Can it kill someone? Or can it cause some stomach discomfort or of any sort? And for the environment, is it that when you plant it, it is going to overcome everything else in the place and dominate everything around? Or is it going to remain forever and become like a big tree instead of a piece of maize or so?
A monster.
Those are the kinds of considerations that the safety is referring to. First of all, poisons are known. They have their similarities. There are chemical compounds food scientists have known. Those that cause itching and discomfort for human beings are called allergens. Those are things that cause reactions. So before the safety dossier is developed and the conclusion is safe, it must be found to be that it doesn't have anything that is poisonous or anything that can cause stomach problem for human beings or animals. And then if it is planted, it is going to behave just like its own ordinary counterpart. And if it is used as food, it is going to test and have the same chemical composition as its own conventional grain. That is the only time when it is going to be regarded as being safe.
What are those regulatory frameworks that we need to have GM products available?
The intention is such that all concerns that humans may have all over the world would have been answered by attaining this level of regulation and control, such that now every one of us walk into an airplane and then being flown all over the world without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because the regulatory regime that was put in place to ensure our safety has even removed this concern for us. And I'm sure what Roy and his colleagues are doing are eventually going to put Kenyans into the understanding that there is no longer anything to get concerned about in GMOs.
Now, another question that we have is, does Africa has the capacity to manage GM products, to manage GM technology? Do we have that capacity?
In Africa, we have the capacity. And that capacity was documented by Kalisas Juma when he published his book on the freedom to innovate. That is very well documented. We have the capacity, we have the regulatory ability to do that which needs to be done. So when we are saying this is safe, farmer can grow, consumer can feed, it is indeed safe.
You talked about maize, BT cotton, BT cowpea. Tell me, Professor, do we have other crops where GM technology has been applied in Africa and across the world?
There are several other places. For example, in soybean, soybean GM technology has been applied in soybean to make weed control easier for the farmer, and also in cassava to increase the amount of vitamin A and some essential minerals in it, and sweet potato also. Sorghum has also been enriched in terms of its nutritive potential to increase it in zinc concentration and iron.
Capacity is key. Now, I think what I will say is, how is it communicated to different stakeholders that from the farm where we know that there is these issues, to the researchers where they will produce that solution, to the biosafety authorities to say, now we are sure it is good, and then go back to the farm, now go and use it. I think that is an area where we need to work. Do you have some?
Yes, the issue is on perception. And I want to admit, as a scientist, as an expert in this area, and even as a head of an institution in Kenya, this is an area we have not done very well. The area of communicating it, the area of making it an everyday street conversation. That has not happened. And in fact, this kind of engagement, where we can ask questions without making reference to slides and PowerPoint presentations, is a perfect way of getting these messages out there. Do we even receive feedback from our clients when they interact with this technology? That is, I think, the weakest point in our.
I think that is very important, and the question was asked deliberately, because if it is so safe, why on the other side people are still jittery when you talk of GMO?
That's right.
I think I will ask our colleagues from the media to help us break the walls of the communication and let that science, that assurance, and that seriousness go down to the consumers, go down to the farmers, go down to the decision makers, so that they know that there is no reason for fear. We have our researchers, we have our regulators who are working seriously on this area. I think when we come back, we take a break, and when we come back, We look now at the farmers' level. What is it that they are thinking about all these technologies?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Welcome back to the Kikao session.
Thank you.
Yeah. We were talking of how GM product can address some issues, and I know there are many at the level of the farmers. What is their perception on GM product? Are they willing to plant GM seed, for example?
Farmers are very clever. They are business-minded people. The new variety, once provides solution to their problem, they grab it and nobody can stop them from using it. Farmers all over the world, government might have its own regulations and so on, but if a farmer gets attracted due to the productivity and the benefits he is going to get from a new variety, whether it is GM or not GM, farmers don't care. They are looking for solutions to their problem. That lends the credence to the fact that our policymakers need to become more accountable to the need of the farmers, rather than going by some flimsy perceptions being peddled around by those people who do not even know what agriculture is in the first place.
We took farmers to a confined field trial of cotton in some central Kenya location place, and we took them round. This is the BT cotton, this is the conventional, you can see, and we went round. They almost took the seeds by force. They said, give us this one, we have already seen, so what are you waiting for? And we're telling them, wait, hold on, we still have some stages. Then they couldn't understand why we are not giving them the seed. The other day, we met farmers from Northlift in Kenya, and we were basically telling them there is the BT technology that is coming, which will help us address the issue of the stem borer, and they challenged us. Bring to us also that which will address the fall armyworm.
Yes.
And also go and do that science. Bring to us that which will make nitrogen, you know, maize that can make
fertilizer.
Yes, for fertilizer, so that they can reduce the investments in fertilizer. So, like Prof is saying, once the farmers see that this is addressing our problem, they are ready to go.
Obviously, this biotechnology is bringing solutions to the main challenges. Obviously, the farmers need it. What can we do to enhance the adoption and use of this technology in many countries on the continent?
We need to put more effort in exhibiting the technology practically, in both on the farm and also on the table for people to see. If any Kenyans or Nigerians or any African for that matter had traveled to places like Brazil, Argentina, United States of America, China, and so on, if they had eaten sweet corn, for example, sweet melon, and so on and so forth, they would have eaten GM varieties of these ones. They would have been thanking their tongue for tasting that, because they are so tasty, sweet, and so on. So, without knowing it, in those countries, they have gone beyond that level of doubts and rumor peddling about this technology. It has become part of their diet. So here, we need to invest more in creating awareness, in disabusing the minds of the public, most especially by those people who present themselves as experts in this area while they are novices. A professor can be a professor in a particular area, but he might not know exactly the subject matter under discussion. And if he or she opens her mouth to the public and then musters the reaction of members of the public, our policymakers shake without taking any change.
Colleagues, Professor Ishaku, Dr. Roy Mugira, yes. I want to thank you very much, and I want to take this opportunity to also thank our viewers for their attention. I invite you to the next Kikao session. Goodbye for now.
Thank you very much for.
And now to our science terminology of the week on Science Speak. This week, the word is biological control. This is a method of controlling pests and diseases using other organisms. For example, the introduction of a particular species of birds into an area to control locusts. All right, what a revealing conversation that was, separating fact from fiction. So yes, GMOs may not be the silver bullet, or at least not the only one on the African continent, but they're definitely part of the toolkit needed to tackle the question of food security on the continent and other applications. My name is Joe Agayo. This conversation can only go on. Thank you for watching Kikao.
Good evening from Nairobi, and many thanks for joining us on the broadcast this Wednesday night, the 27th day of September 2023. NTV Tonight begins now. Top stories tonight.
This issue is a political landmine. It's a constitutional and electoral crisis.
40 constituencies on the verge of being scrapped. MPs want IEBC commissioners named first to undertake boundary delimitation. Will the dialogue committee budge? Also tonight,
we follow up the issues and we find probably something was committed by somebody who is not necessarily a police officer in the way we know it.
Misleading and unfounded. IPOA asserts police boss lied about police killings during the street demos. An indictment on the IG. Plus, court orders Eric Maigo teen murder suspect to be held for 21 days. And
tulipigwa blow last time, lakini hatuwezi kubali sasa pia tupigwe ngumi.
Readying for the torrents. Wastewater management crisis in cities ahead of the El Nino season. It's a race against time.
Live from Nation Center, this is NTV Tonight with Ben Kitili.
Welcome to the broadcast. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Flora Atieno. Tonight, the National Assembly Justice and Legal Affairs Committee is warning the country could be staring at a constitutional and electoral crisis following the delay in appointing commissioners to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, who are expected to spearhead the delimitation of new boundaries. The committee says that 40 constituencies are likely to be scrapped off in the next 5 months for failing to reach the required population threshold of 164,041 people. We begin tonight with NTV's Ruth Sarmway.
Enforcing and are not in conflict with each other.
Speaking during a workshop on finalizing pending electoral legislation organized by the Electoral Law and Governance Institute for Africa, ELGA, Gatanga MP Edward Muriu, a member of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, highlighted the need to fast-track the appointment of IEBC commissioners by overlooking the ongoing National Dialogue Committee that has halted the process.
Bearing in mind the volatility of the Kenya general elections, and further delay in the appointment of IEBC commissioners in the name of having a dialogue will throw the electoral process system into a national disaster. Hence is my kind appeal that even in the bipartisan talks continue, the appointing panel be allowed to undertake its mandate, appoint the commissioners to begin the boundary delimitation process and address the fate of unprotected constituencies Otherwise, it will remain a ticking time bomb.
Economic model.
Azimio co-principal Kalonzo Musyoka strongly disputed the proposal, arguing that the country cannot have a rigged selection panel.
If you are to proceed the way you have proposed, then it makes nonsense of what you're trying to do to put this country together again. And you say that one side will just proceed and carry out their mandate and put in commissioners who will pre-rig the 2027 election. Of course it cannot happen.
We undertake, by all means necessary and lawful, to support discourse on constitutionalism and nation building, including the national dialogue led by the NATCO, to ensure optimal functioning of the IBC through transparent appointment of commissioners.
According to Muriu, the delay in the process is putting constituencies with less than 164,000 people at risk of being folded.
With regard to the protected constituencies, which ceases to exist in the next 5 months, of the transition clause on the boundary delimitation that last concluded in 2013 and did not extend the protection to the next delimitation unless the law is amended. This issue is a political landmine. It's a constitutional and electoral crisis in the making. Not to mention that there are about other 40 constituencies which have not reached the population quota of 164,014, thus facing extinction.
While appearing before the National Dialogue Committee, the IEBC CEO Hussein Marjan indicated that the delays in recruiting new commissioners have hampered the constitutional process, stating that the agency would require 18 months to conclude the delimitation process, which was slated for March next year. Other issues that were brought up during the workshop included finalizing the Election Campaign Financing Act, as well as the implementation of the 2/3 gender rule. Ruth Sarmui, NTV, in Nakuru.
Meanwhile, Kenyans are calling for a change in the electoral cycle to reflect a staggered election. In a report by the Elections Observation Group on citizen assessment of the 2022 polls, dubbed Vile Tunaicheki, elections for the president and members of the National Assembly, woman representative and senator should be held on different dates from the governor's and MCA's elections. Speaking during the launch of the report, ILOG National Coordinator Mule Musa observed that Kenyans want the winner-take-all system abolished, in its place a proportional representation model tied to party lists instituted. The observers also noted that IEBC still suffers trust deficits, with 45% of Kenyans saying they are dissatisfied with Kenya's electoral processes.
So there's an issue of IEBC needing to broaden its understanding of SIGs by conducting a study to understand and ensure reasonable accommodation at the registration centers in addition to the access to polling stations. So the question of accessibility to polling stations for SIG needs to be addressed by IEBC.
The Independent Policing Oversight Authority is seeking to be granted autonomy in the discharge of its duties, contending that challenges of working under a multi-agency approach is hindering their delivery. According to the Commissioner's, facilities such as the DCI Forensic Laboratory should be made independent to avoid cover-ups in investigations, as well as being granted independence in the prosecution of cases which end up piling up at the Office of Director of Public Prosecution. They have also stated that the Inspector General of Police statement on Azimio hiring bodies for burial was misleading and baseless. Let's get more from NTV's Melita Oletenges.
The mass protests and killings witnessed during the anti-government protests put the Independent Policing Oversight Authority on the spot after the police were accused of using excessive force, including firing live bullets, with dozens of people reported dead.
And we are grateful for your honesty.
Appearing before the National Dialogue Committee, IPOA commissioners highlighted key issues that have stood in the way of them getting to the bottom of such cases.
When there is multi-agency operations, then IPOA is limited. We follow up the issues, then we find probably something was committed by somebody who is not necessarily a police officer in the way we know it.
The files that are pending before the ODPP are too many.
And we continue doing our investigations and forwarding our recommendations there. That's why we were asking for prosecutorial powers.
IPOA noted that the deaths recorded in the mass protests were 57 and that complaints have been raised against the Inspector General Japheth Koome on statements accusing Azimio la Umoja of hiring dead bodies from morgues.
That was strange. It was very strange. And members, individuals have ways of saying what they want to. IPOA, as given by these figures, is very clear. We go to witness in the crime scene area. We go and attend the post-mortem.
The National Cohesion and Integration Commission, in its submission, raised concern over the increasing number of armed gangs in the country as a result of unemployment. Wajir South Professionals Association, in their proposals, indicated that the people of Wajir South have not benefited from devolution, proposing the creation of Wajir South County to address issues of marginalization and underdevelopment.
Before you today is a community that has not had adequate political representation for a very long time, who've been left out of not just the allocation of national resources, but have also been marginalized and feel left out.
The Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega-led faction of the Jubilee Party also presented its memoranda to the bipartisan committee. And despite the embattled Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni sitting in the Azimio technical team, the group says Jubilee was not included in the committee, but must be heard.
Hata kama hawakuweka mtu wa Jubilee, sisi tunasema kwamba wale ambao wako watatuwakilisha na tutahakikisha kwamba maoni yetu, mapendekezo yetu yatawekwa katika ile report ya mwisho ambayo itawasilishwa hapa.
The Cherera 4 commissioners are expected to appear before the committee on Thursday. Melita Oletenges, NTV.
In other news, Parliament has blocked the executive from implementing recommendations by the Presidential Working Party on education reforms. This follows an uproar by a section of members of the National Assembly. And now is NTV's Brian Mushiri with the lowdown.
In a very serious manner.
The Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms made some far-reaching recommendations on the education sector in the country in the report released in June this year. The changes recommended the scrapping off of categorization of secondary schools and the removal of compulsory subjects for career choices, among others.
Okay,
However, a section of members of parliament have raised concerns over some of the recommendations.
The Presidential Working Party gives now powers to the Teacher Service Commission to employ chaplains and imams in schools. This is in direct conflict of Article 9 of the Constitution.
There is a trend in this country where recommendations are made by committees that are appointed, and they are implemented by passing this House, Mr. Speaker.
There's a clear effort to circumvent that provision so that the occasion of it deciding by the court may not arise because there will be no law passed by Parliament.
Nobody, including cabinet secretaries, have the power to make law. Not even a Presidential Working Party. The best they can do, Honorable Speaker, is to make recommendations.
The matter was put to rest by Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, who supported the legislators.
And nobody, and I repeat, nobody, no minister of government, can purport to make law or do things that appear to be interpreted that they have made law, because they have no capacity to make any law.
During question time, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njuguna Ndungu was hard-pressed to explain when some 16,000 teachers will receive their pension after a deal in 1997 between the union and the government failed to materialize.
Honorable Speaker, let the CS give a commitment in this House today when these teachers are going to receive this payment.
Let me say that it's a serious effort to make sure that this happens. But it's also dependent on the resource availability. We are solving a legacy issue, and I do believe the emotive part of it, and we'll do our best to make sure that it is done.
Brian Mushiri, NTV, Nairobi.
Any supplementary question?
The murder trial against junior rally driver Maxine Wahome kicked off on Tuesday, with a neighbor taking to the stand as a first witness. Chemutai Kipkorir told the court today that Maxine and the deceased, who is her late lover, used to frequently engage in physical fights. She testified that on December 12, 2022, she was in her house when she heard commotion from Massad's house, though she did not get out of her house to try and intervene or separate the two. Mutai told the court that she heard a woman crying amid the commotion before she went on to call 911 and the Kilelesho Association chairman. Maxine is charged with the murder of Assad, who died on December 19, 2022. This was after he sustained serious injuries at his home on December 12th.
That's why.
But by that time, when I came back, somebody had gotten a silver blanket and they'd covered him up and they loaded him into the vehicle.
So you didn't manage to lend them your blankets?
No, I didn't. They didn't need it at that point.
Yes.
And then they drove off, and then that's actually now when I went and opened my door, and there was a lot of blood right on my doorstep.
You're watching NTV tonight. Many thanks for staying with us. Let's take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We're back shortly with more news for you.
Wateja who prefer stock zangu juu ziko tayari kuvaliwa pap lakini vile hii ekonomi imetufinya, ilinibidi kubadilisha sabuni nikatumia ingine rahisi. Bala, ilibidi nioshe kila kitu mara mbili. Sikuwa na otherwise, nikarudia Ariel. Mi hupata clean and fresh results kwa mwosho mmoja tu. Ariel ndio siri yangu. Sasa stoli yangu iko popular sana.
Ariel, usafi bora kwa mwosho mmoja tu. We love to share our cultures. And the one thing that unites us all, that celebrates precious moments, nurtures our Kenyan spirit, drives success, welcomes, and even inspires. Our language does all of this and more. Na ni lugha ambayo kila Mkenya anajua. The more the milk, the better the chai. Chai kweli ina Brookside Dairy Best.
Acne-prone skin, marks? Stop. Try new Garnier Charcoal Serum with 4% AHA, BHA and charcoal. The first black serum with no residue. Clinically proven to reduce pimples and acne marks. New Garnier AHA, BHA Charcoal Serum. Approved by dermatologists by Garnier Naturally.
It's Butta's birthday month and you can enjoy free shopping of up to 500 bob. Offer starts at 2,499 only. Visit your nearest Butta store today.
Hi there, my name is George Washuri, CEO Optiven Group, and I'm very excited to introduce Ushidi Gardens Nakuru. This property is developed by Optiven and we are doing compacted maram roads. We plant the trees, fence the property. What's unique about this property? It's only 1.2 kilometers off the highway and 18 minutes from Nakuru City, the pink city. So please call this number 0790 300 300. Optiven, we have you covered.
Optiven,
Erik ten Hag is potentially facing the toughest period of his managerial career as he looks to revive Manchester United, the most successful club in Premier League history. After an encouraging first season, Ten Hag's second campaign at Old Trafford is off to a rocky start, besieged by problems both on and off the pitch.
Welcome back. You're watching NTV Tonight. In our continuing series on the special coverage of the El Nino, we focus on wastewater management. Oftentimes when it rains, sewers across Kenya's urban areas burst, forcing locals to wade through the murky and stinky waters. The poor drainage systems is one of the major challenges witnessed in most parts of the country, and if not fixed on time, then the anticipated El Nino rains will have a devastating impact on the people. The stormwater associated with flooding has also led to loss of human life, damage to property, and even other health hazards. NTV's Kevin Mutai takes us through how some parts of the country are preparing to avert the negative impacts of the heavy rains expected in the months of October, November, and December.
We are likely to have floods over the low-lying areas, especially over the northeastern parts of the country and northwestern parts of the country, the southeastern lowlands, and also the Lake Victoria Basin and the urban centers that have poor drainage system. We are also likely to experience a lot of flooding in those areas.
With the warning issued by the Kenya Meteorological Department on the possible flooding in various parts of the country as a result of the El Nino rains, vulnerable populations are likely to suffer the brunt of the phenomenon for lack of preparedness. In 1997, the heavy rains wreaked havoc. The flooding in major towns attributed to the poor infrastructure and the clogged drainage systems.
From 1997 and even from other rainfall seasons where we've had very heavy rainfall, we've seen that there's been a lot of loss of lives and damage to property. And so what we are saying is that we can try to avoid the losses and damages associated with the heavy rainfall expected during this October, November, December season by taking a few measures. Like, for example, we can try to create more awareness on weather and climate issues, and more so emphasizing on the need to adapt to the changing weather patterns.
Traditionally speaking, whenever these warnings are released, the most important action is in the early action interventions that take place at the local level to prevent risks of flooding, so to mitigate, to prevent.
Major cities such as Mombasa have previously suffered the impacts of the heavy rainfall, some of the streets flooding, hence disrupting traffic and even livelihoods.
There are going to be contracts, adverts that are going to be issued very soon for the areas of Bomu. As we're speaking right now, there are going to be adverts that are going to be issued for the construction of Mahima Stadium area as well, and all of this is just to be able to avert any likelihood.
The Emergency Response Committee has mapped out several areas which are prone to flooding, such as Utange, Ziwa la Ng'ombe, Kadzandani and Bomu, among other places, coming up with several measures to safeguard locals from the effects of the expected El Nino rains.
Tulipigwa blow last time, lakini hatuwezi kubali sasa pia tupigwe ngumi. Tulikuja na Department ya Transport and Infrastructure, na sisi kama Department ya Planning tumeassess area. Ukikumbuka wakati uliopita hapa kwa kumejaa sana kwa sababu kuna mto. So tumeweza kuassess na maengineer wakatoa wasia wao, wakasema lazima hizi ziweze kuwa expanded. Sasa wana zimekuwa expanded na maji hapa sasa yatapita vizuri, na kuna mikakati mingi. Kuna mikakati gavana anaweka ya kuweza kuweka wale Mombasa yangu waweze kutrainiwa tukishirikiana na Red Cross ili tuweze kuokoa watu wetu.
In Ziwa la Ng'ombe, for example, we have a total of 50 soak pits, vertical drains, and we have opened all of them. We are servicing them to make sure that at least they help us manage the issue, because as you realize, Ziwa la Ng'ombe is a basin. It is the lowest point in Nyali, so all water tend to converge there. But we hope that these soak pits or vertical drains will help us deal with the problem there.
We will be prepared as well in the event that we will need to be in a position to vacate people, those who are in the low-lying areas as well, and especially areas that have not been, that are not formal houses per se.
Environmental experts say that structures built on the waterways and even wetlands have also contributed to floods in some areas. The consequences of this has seen some houses getting submerged during the heavy rainfall season, displacing hundreds of people.
Na ukiapproviwa ujenge vilivyoapproviwa fanya hivyo, kwa sababu ikifika wakati hatuwezi kuruhusu maisha ya maelfu yaharibike kwa sababu ya mtu mmoja. Tutadili na wewe ili watu wapate nafuu.
In April this year, the Maimahiu-Narok Road was closed after a heavy downpour that caused fault lines along the highway. A similar incident was also witnessed in Kiamunyi area on the outskirts of Nakuru town, where deep gullies were formed due to the heavy rains. As a result of these impacts, there is need for community sensitization in order to avert loss of life and destruction of property.
Ile sehemu yenye mimi nitoka kwa Tana River kulikuwa na madhara mengi sana, kwa sababu tukienda upande wa mto maji yalijaa yakawa mengi yakaharibu mashamba. Kiupande wangu mimi nitasema bado hatujajiandaa, kwa sababu mpaka sasa hivi kuna watu wenye wanaishi sehemu za lowland na wameambiwa waondoke wakae sehemu ya juu, lakini mpaka sasa kuna watu wenye wanaishi hiyo sehemu.
Sadly so is that whenever we talk about early preparedness, globally speaking, there is very little resources put in place for early action. And our request and our appeal to donors, the donor community, is to avail as much resources as possible for early intervention, early action. That is what is going to make the difference in people's lives.
And there are fears of the outbreak of waterborne diseases.
So we are also likely to see an increase in vector-borne diseases because of the floodings, because the floods will produce conducive breeding grounds for disease-causing insects like the mosquitoes. So what we've advised the Ministry of Health is to put in place water and sanitation hygiene measures, like they can provide water treatment chemicals to residents, especially who rely on open water sources for their water needs.
We have already done polio vaccination, cholera vaccination, which the campaigns that we have been doing, and this has gone with sensitization on how to also prevent some of the waterborne diseases that are likely to come with El Nino.
The government says plans to establish strategies to mitigate the severity of the expected El Nino rains are underway, with the stakeholder engagement interrogating the level of preparedness across the country. Kevin Mutai, NTV in Mombasa.
El Nino Watch continues here on NMG. Be sure to stay with us for qualified coverage of the same. We take a quick commercial break. Don't go too far. After this, when we return, Nina Shaban will be here with the latest from the world of business.
Stay 5 degrees cooler.
Body odor is caused by germs, and on active days, the sweating and odor are more. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool with up to 5 degrees instant cooling sensation and odor protection. Be Dettol sure.
The county government of Samburu invites you to the 31st International Maralal Camel Derby starting from 5th to 8th October 2023 at the Yare Camel Club Maralal in Samburu County. The event seeks to spread cultural diversity, cohesion and community conservation. Join us for this unique travel and cultural experience with the vibrant Samburu people. For more information, log on to www.samburu.go.ke.
Kenya Meteorology Department advised that Kenya will experience El Nino, which is expected to cause above average rainfall in the months of October, November, and December this year. To prepare for this, we appeal to livestock producers, cooperatives, farmer associations, counties, and commercial fodder producers to get as much hay as possible from the farms to the stores, because harvesting, baling, and picking of hay from the hay fields will be disrupted by the heavy rains. You can explore funding opportunities from your bank, SACCO, or other available avenues to ensure that you have sufficient fodder to sustain your dairy and beef production throughout the El Nino period. This message is brought to you by AU-IBAR.
Show off your best skin with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Body Lotion with 5-in-1 complete care. The deeply nourishing formula prevents your skin from drying with precious cocoa butter and deep moisture for smooth and healthy looking skin.
How do you keep your toilets clean?
I use normal detergent and bleach for washing.
The detergent and bleach cleanless can leave behind yellowness, rust, and germs.
Harpic's 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach, and kills 99.9% illness-causing germs in your toilet, including the COVID-19 virus.
What should I do with my Luigi? He's 35 now, but doesn't want to move out. I cook for him, I wash for him.
Allora, why don't you try a Red Bull?
Ornella, where is my mama?
Ah, she's flown the nest. Good evening. Let's take a look at the business news. My name is Nina Shaban. The government now targets bumping up the country's earnings from tea exports to 150 billion shillings this year as it seeks to unlock new export markets and boost Kenya's foreign exchange position. If realized, this will be an ambitious 32% increase from the earnings earned last year at a time when the country is looking to diversify its export destination markets. Martin Mwangi now brings us the latest.
The Kenya shilling has had a rough time in 2023, depreciating by 19% against the US dollar and precipitating challenges for importers owing to challenges in accessing the dollar. In March, the government entered a credit-based deal with Gulf majors for export of petroleum products to help alleviate this foreign exchange pressure. The government now says it is on a mission to strengthen the country's tea exports to help boost the foreign exchange position and ease the pressure on the shilling. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says that in 2023, the state targets raking in 150 billion worth of earnings from tea, a 12% increase from the preceding year.
In 2021, the tea subsector earned the country 136 billion Kenya shillings in foreign exchange. Last year, we earned 138 billion Kenya shillings. This year, we fully roll out reforms. We project the export earnings to rise to about 150 billion Kenya shillings.
Gachagua has challenged tea factories across the country to venture into specialty teas in a bid to unlock better prices in the global market. The government has challenged tea factories to divest from businesses in which they are struggling and focus on their core mandate of tea processing.
KDDA factories recorded a turnover of 95.3 billion Kenya shillings in 2023 compared to 93.02 billion last year. This is an increment of over 2.3 billion Kenya shilling. There was a growth of 2.28%. The total payment of farmers grew by 7.6%, reaching 67.7 billion Kenya shillings.
The DP has also promised to convene a meeting with the Energy Cabinet Secretary and other relevant stakeholders in order to reduce the cost of energy for the tea factories. Martin Mwangi, NTV.
The government has shrugged off allegations that the coffee sector reforms under the stewardship of the Office of the Deputy President have run into headwinds owing to the tight grip of cartels. This comes a week after it emerged that the Nairobi Coffee Exchange is grappling with depressed volumes as farmers giving the exchange's auction a wide berth. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says that the government is keen to replicate the success in the tea sector reform into the coffee sector.
And the fact that we have succeeded in tea reforms is a clear indication we'll succeed in milk reforms and in coffee reforms. It's only that coffee, the resistance is huge. Huge. Lakini tulijua, si ati hatukujua. Tulijua ile kitu tunapambana naye. And we were prepared and we are still prepared.
And that's it for Business News tonight. My name is Nina Shaban. Please do enjoy the rest of your viewing.
A mosquito can enter from anywhere and prevent you from having a peaceful good night's rest. This is why I recommend the Motindum Liquid Electronic Device. The Motindum powerful formula reaches every corner, giving your loved ones a peaceful sleep. Together, we can fight to end malaria. Motindum, Kenya's #1 choice.
It's Butter's birthday month, and you can enjoy free shopping of up to 500 bob. Offer starts at 2,499 only. Visit your nearest Butter store today.
Mwanangu, unapozidi kukua, mwili wangu unapitia mabadiliko mengi sana. Lakini the new Nice and Lovely Flawless Bio Body Oil inatunza mwili wangu, and I get to celebrate my journey with you. New Nice and Lovely Flawless Bio Body Oil imeboreshwa na 4 natural oils. Kupunguza the appearance of stretch marks, even skin tone, na kuimprove skin firmness. Flawless is a feeling. 9 out of 10 Kenyan women agree it worked for them.
Stay 5 degrees cooler.
Body odor is caused by germs, and on active days, the sweating and odor are more. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool with up to 5 degrees instant cooling sensation and odor protection. Be Dettol sure.
Welcome to Indeed Kenya, coinciding with Manufacturing Expo 2023. Grab the opportunity to meet over 80 Indian manufacturers in various industries: oil and gas, power energy, solar, chemical, food processing, agro, packaging machinery, automotive and construction. We're at KICC, Nairobi. Mark your calendar from 11th to 13th October from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
We asked the children, how many of you brushed this morning? And this little boy, his hand didn't go up. And I said, well, why didn't you brush this morning? He said, my brother was using the toothbrush. If I'd waited for him, I would have been late for school. I'm sorry, I get a bit emotional when it comes to that. To be able to change a child's life, to be able to bring back that confidence about their smile, for me, is phenomenal.
Are you looking for a home or investment option? Alba Garden offers a precious piece of luxury located in Kilimani on Kasuku Road off Lenana Road. Our amenities include fully equipped gym, high-speed lifts, CCTV and visual conversational system, vehicle management system, intelligent lock, clubhouse, children's playing ground and infinity swimming pool. We have studios, duplex penthouses and 1 to 3 bedroom apartments starting from $49,000, all en suite with fitted kitchen. Our payment plans are also flexible from 20% deposit. Hurry, cause 70% sold out. Grab the opportunity today by calling 0735 939999 or 0799 000 222 or email us for details. Alba Garden, where luxury meets convenience.
Welcome back to the broadcast. You're watching NTV tonight. Senate is expected to hold the final meeting tomorrow to conclude on the position of primary health care bill. Senators from both the government and the opposition sides presented their proposed amendments for the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill and the Primary Health Care Bill before majority vote, which saw the legislators agree to the bill. The bill will thereafter be presented before the National Assembly before the presidential assent.
How can we be debating the law that will give a framework to appointment of community health promoters, and the president and the governor of Nairobi have already gone ahead and telling us that they have employed community health promoters. Who are those people that were being thugged off at Uruba? And what is the purpose of this Senate if the laws that are supposed to give effect to these things are being debated when the things are already being done?
We have CFVs on the ground who are working. They have worked for a long time. These are people who get maybe just small stipend by the governors or nothing at all, Honorable Speaker. These are the same people that we are proposing that it is important that we have a transitional clause to ensure the community health volunteers are taken and given priority when the health promoters are going to be employed, Honorable Speaker. They get employed by county government, and then basically they earn because they have worked for long without being paid.
Ingekuwa ni vizuri kama pia tungehusisha vijana wa bodaboda ili waweze kupata lishe wakati wa kusafirisha wale wahudumu wa afya ambao wanahitaji usafiri wakati wanafanya kazi yao.
Let's stay with the Senate, shall we? It has now emerged that the non-functionality of 5 transmitter masts that caused an overvoltage that interfered and led to power tripping at the Lake Turkana wind power plant in Marsabit County could have been behind the national power blackout witnessed last month across the country. Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir informed the Senate sitting in Turkana County why the government had to pay Turkana wind power plant 7 billion shillings as compensation due to failure by Ketraco to install a transmitter interconnector line on the time, besides explaining why Lodwar Town in Turkana County has been experiencing frequent power outage.
I want to confirm that Ketraco has completed the bidding process. That was done just the other day on 19th. The company signed a contract with the EPC contractor. This is the contract is to be executed within a period of 12 months, and therefore we expect that challenge of those 5 towers to be corrected by October 2024. With respect to the challenges we are currently experiencing in not just in Lodwar but also in Marsabit, we had some challenges. The power diesel generators, one of them went off, which is supposed to be supplying the load capacity for the town, and currently, whereas the market in Lodwar is 2.8 megawatts, we are currently only supplying 2.4 because one of the 650 megawatts diesel generator went down, and we are working around the clock to make sure we replace.
The national government has been urged to waive the visa requirements for cruise ships that dock at the port of Mombasa as a way of increasing the number of cruise ships with high-spending tourists visiting the country. Mombasa Governor Abdulsamad Nasir said that with improved infrastructure and security, cruise tourism will receive the much-needed attention. The port of Mombasa has become a preferred destination for cruise ships and has attracted 4 vessels since November last year. The governor also called for the implementation of the open sky policy to allow direct flights from the United States of America and the United Kingdom to land at the Moi International Airport in Mombasa to spur tourism sector's growth. Speaking during the celebrations to mark World Tourism Day in Mombasa, Governor Nasir expressed optimism in the resumption of business as operations for the sector.
waweze kuwaive yale mambo ya visa katika meli zile, na sisi kama serikali ya kaunti tutakuwa katika mstari wa mbele, tuweke kama ni magari, tutashirikiana na mahoteli na matua operators na serikali yao ya kaunti, tuweke magari, tuchukue wale watalii waweze kuzungushwa katika mji huu wetu.
Tonight, the family of a suspect in the Eric Maego murder has broken its silence over the suspect's implication in the crime. Now it is emerging the suspect was at the mother's house well after 11 p.m. on the fateful day. Is NTV's Brian Obuya with the context.
On the day Nairobi Hospital's acting finance director was to die, he was partying with 3 women at a club along Ngong Road. That was about 10 p.m. Elsewhere, in the sprawling Kibra slums, a teenager was having a squabble with the mother. It was all about food.
Nikamwambia kama ungekuwa mtu akupigwa, ningekupiga juu yenye nakuuliza kitu na usemi na wewe ndio ulishinda kwa nyumba. Kidogo akaanza kuongea, ndio nikamwambia usifanye nikwae na hasira kisirani zenye sio zangu, na wewe kaa tu huko nje nimalizane ndio uru. Sasa mimi nikapika chakula kaiva, ako tu huko nje. Haya kumaliza akakuja. Akapata tumeshamaliza kukula, mimi nikaamuka nikaenda kwa room hiyo ya kulala. Nikaona kama ameshaingia nafunga mlango. Akaingia side ya huko akatoa mattress. Mimi nikawacha kama nimejua mtu anataka kulala. Sasa pia mimi nikalala tu nikawachana naye.
And then she disappeared. That was midnight.
Ile akujua mimi mtoto amelala kwa nyumba. Asubuhi ndio watoto wanaamka saa 12 wananiambia aje mami. Ana yuko hapa. Nikasema na asubuhi ameamka ameenda wapi?
She will be captured on CCTV cameras 5 blocks away from the house where the murder is said to have occurred. What the DCI was hesitant to mention is that the house where the suspect was seen jumping from is not Eric Maigo's house, even though it is in the same estate. The Directorate of Criminal Investigations then identified her as a prime suspect, launching a highly publicized manhunt for her. By the time of arresting the suspect, the police were yet to answer one very crucial question. What is the relationship between the lady and Maigo? What do their phone call conversations look like? But answering those questions will be a difficult endeavor for one reason.
Nikaenda huko nyuma. Tukaseto mpaka penye alisema ati kwa hiyo kitu ya ndoo. Tukakosa hakuna simu. Kaambia huyu msichana hata wewe uingie, nimeangalia mimi sijapa. Na sijui kama anako na simu.
The police has been granted 21 days to detain the suspect as they conclude investigations. Those 21 days are going to task police with nothing but the difficult job of trying to connect Ann Adhiambo, a juvenile delinquent with no mobile phone who does not cut the image of someone trying to get away with murder, not just because she was arrested at a friend's house in her Bombolulu neighborhood of Kibra, but, for instance, when she's captured jumping into this compound at 6:27 in the morning, she only succeeds to jump away at 6:50 a.m. She had spent 23 minutes in the compound. Nothing about her appeared to raise the attention of these two women. But more shocking details of the suspect are about to unfold. Brian Obuya, NTV.
The government has announced plans to implement the enacted Children's Act of 2022 to enable inclusion of child care reform as a flagship project in the country by the year 2030. Speaking at the National Conference on the Care Reforms, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Social Protection, Joseph Montari, said the ministry is targeting households with children who have transitioned from institutional care through the ongoing scaling up of Inua Jamii program, which is under the State Department of Social Protection. He asked parents across the country to take the responsibility of their children instead of abandoning them in various children's homes.
In the right hands. Otherwise, is through public baradas where the administrators of employees.
Thank you, Bernard.
It is crucial to emphasize that care reform is an alignment with our Constitution, the Children Act 2022, and the bottom-up transformational economic agenda. This strong legal foundation obligates us as a duty bearers to ensure that every child has a family. So I want to ask the parents of the Republic of Kenya, let us take the responsibility of bringing up our loved ones, our children. Let us not live, that is why we are coming up with a parenting policy, which is at a very high stage now. We want to make sure that we have up to an act to make sure that we guide, as a State Department, we want to take lead in guiding our people on the way forward of parenting. Let us not ignore our responsibility of parenting as parents.
Let's take another quick commercial break here on NTV tonight. When we return, we shall be telling you some good news in the sports concerning Kenya's and Tanzania and Uganda's joint bid to host the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. Don't go to
Stay 5 degrees cooler.
Body odor is caused by germs, and on active days, the sweating and odor are more. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool with up to 5 degrees instant cooling sensation and odor protection. Be Dettol sure.
200 bob too. Hey Buddha, the transaction ndio imekushinda ama?
Relax.
Umenyoa watu kama kuku juu ya tokens. Nunua KPLC tokens bila charges only on Airtel Money. Dial *334#. Select Lipa na Airtel Pay Bill, then select KPLC.
When you're finally released from pain. That moment when you start to get back to ordinary, and ordinary feels amazing. Whatever pain you're going through, release starts here.
Benefits of ordering with Glovo. Glovo allows you to order anything you want at the comfort and convenience of your home. Craving fried chicken, or pilau, or pizza? Easy and simple. Order on Glovo today. Glovo. Order anything, we deliver in minutes.
With Glovo, you've got the city at your fingertips. Unajisikia kukula kitu different? Order Glovo. Ama treat the family with a sweet surprise. Download Glovo and get anything you want in minutes.
Erik ten Hag is potentially facing the toughest period of his managerial career as he looks to revive Manchester United, the most successful club in Premier League history. After an encouraging first season, Ten Hag's second campaign at Old Trafford is off to a rocky start, besieged by problems both on and off the pitch.
Hi there, my name is George Washuri, CEO Optiven Group, and I'm very excited to introduce Ushidi Gardens Nakuru. This property is developed by Optiven, and we are doing compacted maram roads. We plant the trees, fence the property. What's unique about this property? It's only 1.2 kilometers off the highway and 18 minutes from Nakuru City, the pink city. So please call this number 0790 300 300. Optiven, we have you covered.
Optiven.
Welcome back. In sports tonight, President William Ruto has announced that the East Africa community will do all it can to deliver a world-class event when the three African nations, East African nations, will host the Africa Cup of Nations in 2027 after the CAF Executive Committee awarded the three nations the hosting rights. The East Africa community presented a joint bid dubbed the Pamoja bid, which emerged victorious ahead of Egypt, Senegal, and Botswana. CAF requires the hosting nation to provide 6 venues where action involving 24 nations will take place. Each of the 3 countries will provide 2 stadiums with a 3rd stadium on standby. Kenya submitted more international sports Center Kasarani as well as the Nyayo National Stadium as the 2 main stadiums, with Kipchoge Keino Stadium in Eldoret being the 3rd option. President reiterated his government's commitment to ensure that renovations in all the above stadia are completed in time.
We will now mobilize every resource. We will mobilize every person and every sector to make sure that we deliver a world-class football event in 2027. We will make sure that whatever infrastructural facility that are required will be made available to make sure that we move Kenya to the next level in our sports industry.
We all are looking forward to that. Now, Ronnie Lusigi is the new president of the Esports Kenya Federation after garnering 23 votes in the federation's maiden national election held today. Election involving 27 delegates from various counties was held in a hotel in the city with observers coming from the Ministry of Sports, Registrar of Sports and the Kenya National Sports Council. Lusigi was able to emerge the winner after defeating his only opponent, Monique Mwanzia, who got 4 votes. In other oppositions, Brian Ochanda was elected representative of the athletes. Helen Cairo was voted in as a treasurer, while Ann Odhiambo was elected as the vice president together with John Odhiambo. Michael Lulu will be the corporate member representative, with Elijah Kiplagat, the organizing secretary. And double Olympic champion Faith Kipyegon and Olympic marathon current champion Perez Jepchirchir are among the 18 athletes that Athletics Kenya has selected to represent the country at the upcoming World Athletics Road Running Championships to be held on the 1st of October in Riga, Latvia. The team is set to depart at 11:15 p.m. with Francis Afundi as the team lead. Faith Kipyegon and Nelly Chepchirchir have been selected in the women's road mile race with Brainerd Cheruyot and Kyumbe Nunguti to participate in the men's category. In the 5 kilometers men's race, Nicholas Kimeli will have Cornelius Kemboi for company with 5,000-meter world silver medalist Beatrice Chabet and Lillian Kasait representing the country in the women's category. Perez Jepchirchir headlined the women's half marathon. So we leave it on NTV tonight. Many thanks for watching. We do appreciate the privilege of the time tonight. I am Ben Kitili. Good night. Good night.